Hello everyone and welcome to yet another unboxing video. Only today it's going to be more like an unzipping video. Yeah, you see the zip there? Yeah, it's going to be an unzipping video, which might sound a bit strange, but I'm going to explain. So most of us who collect physical media, I think, will be pretty familiar with the concept of a case to store your discs in. So you can see this game here, this old Simpsons hit and run game. So look, there's the disc and there's the instruction book, all kept safe in a nice little case. There, yeah, case. You clip it shut and you keep it on your shelf and it's all nice and safe, isn't it? But sometimes, when you were a kid, you'd lose the case, you know, something would happen, the case would break, or you'd lose it, you know, it would get lost, who knows, under the beds, you know, get thrown out the window, in the bin, who knows, you might lose it, and sometimes all you end up with is just the disc on its own, like that, or sometimes you might even just buy the disc, you know, from a second-hand game shop or something, and all you have is the disc. So what do you do when you just have the disc? Because you don't just want to leave it like a coaster on the floor like that, right? I mean, that's no good, is it? Because it's just going to get scratched and scuffed up. So what you had to do, if you didn't have the case, is you had to get yourself one of these. So this is a disc wallet. So yeah, just a handy little way of storing your discs inside a nice little zipped up wallet like that. And this originally came with my PlayStation 2. I did do a video a while ago talking about my original childhood PS2, and this was one of the sort of accessories that came with it. It was like a CD wallet and a memory card, courtesy of Venom. I don't know if that has anything to do with the Spider-Man villain. That's what he was into in the early 2000s, was he loved third-party gaming accessories. That's what Venom did back then. Yeah, so I had one of these to keep all my discs safe when I didn't have the case. So what we're going to do is I'm going to unzip the wallet and yeah, just talk about what's inside, as always, talking about those classic memories. So yeah, let's unzip it and get started. Let's get going. So having unzipped the wallet, we can now open it up, and as we can see, look, straight away, it came with little pockets. Isn't that nice? Little pockets for you to keep your memory cards in, because of course back in the day, you know, there were no hard drives to save your games to, so you had to get little memory cards like this. This is like a dodgy one, I think, like not an official one, because obviously it has South Park stickers on it. I had this like when I was really young, so you could just save games to. I think this is for the PS1, and this was by Joytech, which again, probably a rip-off company that did like third-party memory cards, because these were usually like cheaper but more temperamental. Like sometimes they wouldn't save things properly, or it could corrupt your data or erase it. So yeah, these were always a bit of a risk, really, using these. Yeah, but here is an official one. This is actually an official PlayStation 2 memory card, and yeah, it was pretty expensive back in the day, just for the sake of saving your game. Otherwise, what you had to do was like leave the console on all day, like when you went to school or something. You know, if you wanted to keep your progress, you had to leave it on all day, which was definitely a bit of a fire hazard, but you know, that's what you had to do if you didn't have one of these things. But yeah, the actual first disc in the wallet is Crash Bandicoot. Look at that, yeah, the original Crash Bandicoot for the PlayStation 1, and this is a platinum disc, so this is like the cheap range. Like after the game had been out for a while, they'd you know, cut the price in half and, you know, sell it at a discount. Yeah, but actually, I didn't actually end up paying anything for this, because this disc actually came for free because I stole it. Yeah, so basically, I used to have this friend who lived down the street, and he had like an old PlayStation sitting in his bedroom in the corner. You know, it was like, he was one of those kids who never cleaned his bedroom, so there was just mess everywhere. So in the corner there was like a bunch of old game stuff, and he had an old PlayStation 1, you know, one of those classic ones, you know, the classic like original brick type PlayStation. Yeah, and we used to, sometimes I'd sort of nag him to take it out, and, you know, he'd show me stuff like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater and things like that, and Crash Bandicoot. But the thing is that he didn't really use it. He didn't really use the console. He didn't really play the game. So occasionally I would just ask, you know, can I borrow this game? So, and he'd be like, yeah, you can borrow it. You know, just remember to bring it back. But then he'd never ask for it back, so I just kind of used to keep his games. Makes me sound awful, doesn't it? But the thing is, like, in hindsight, you know, those games probably would have been thrown out or thrown in the rubbish or something. So the fact that I kept them, you know, he never really asked for them back, so he wasn't really using them. So they'd probably be in a bin somewhere, you know, rotting away. So maybe it's for the best, actually, that I kept this, because, you know, it would probably be long gone by now. But yeah, Crash Bandicoot was always a fun game. It's quite hard though. The first one, I used to get stuck in it. I used to have to cheat, get the cheat codes and stuff like that. Type in the super passwords, unlock everything. Usually, what you would do if a game was too hard, you'd cheat. Next we have, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Yeah, so this is another game I borrowed from my friend, put borrowed in inverted quotes. Yeah, this was The Phantom Menace, which was definitely an interesting game. It was like, well, basically just the movie, except it was a video game, but it was sort of kind of an RPG type thing where you could go around and talk to people, things like that. But again, another game that was pretty hard. I used to have to cheat on that one because they gave you this tiny health bar, so it was really easy to get killed in that game, so just have to put, invincibility cheats on to get through that one. Yeah, Phantom Menace. That was actually the first Star Wars movie I ever saw, so that was my introduction to Star Wars. And the next disc we have is Disney's Treasure Planet. So Treasure Planet was one of my favourite animated movies when I was a kid. I actually saw it in the cinema, and I loved it so much that I stole my cousin's copy of the game. Again, well, people were like, he's such a thief, he stole all his cousin's games, Yeah, I was a bit sneaky back then. But yeah, this was a great game, Treasure Planet, or at least it was when I was a kid. Basically, it was a Spyro ripoff. Like, Spyro the Dragon, where you run around collecting gems. That's basically what Treasure Planet was on the PS1. It's basically just a complete Spyro ripoff. But, I liked Spyro back then as a kid, so, I kind of liked the ripoff Treasure Planet version too, because it actually did take you through all the locations in the movie. And that was the great thing about movie-based games. That's the thing I always liked, is I always wanted to explore, the worlds that you'd see in the movie. So that game actually gave you pretty much what you wanted as a kid. You could run through Treasure Planet and go on the the different planets and the ship and stuff like that. And yeah, it was actually pretty fun. So I have pretty fond memories of the Treasure Planet game and the movie, even though I technically stole it by borrowing it, quote unquote. That's what I did. I'd borrow games. It just makes me look like a horrible thief, but it probably would have been destroyed by now. This disc, it would be rotting in a landfill somewhere. So, but I preserved it, so there you go. And here we have some games that I didn't steal or borrow. They just kind of got left at my house. Like, when your cousins would come over sometimes and they just bring games that you didn't want to play, and then they just kind of leave them at your house and never come back and get them. So here we have FIFA 08. So this is a football game, and I am not a football fan in any way, shape or form. I don't know anything about football really, but my cousin would sometimes bring games like this to play on the PS2. So I don't think I've ever played this since he left it here. It just kind of got shoved in the CD wallet. And what is this, Need for Speed Carbon? I remember Need for Speed Most Wanted. That was another game my cousin had, but he must have brought this Carbon game over and again left it here, never come back for it. And a cousin who did not look after his games, I guess, or care very much for them, so they got dumped at my house and shoved in a CD wallet. So that's kind of funny that just these games got left here, but I still have them, so there you go. Next we have Beat the Crusher. Yeah, I did a full review of that, Beat the Crusher. That was like a lost media game show that I think I'm still the only person in the world who has a copy of it. Like, no footage has ever resurfaced of it except the tape that I have. So that's kind of funny, but I already did a full review on that. So basically, I copied this to a DVD, because it was a tape. It's like an old knackered tape. So I used this to copy it to a DVD on an old Tesco, is it? Yeah, like a very old Tesco recordable DVD. Yeah, you get those cheap from Tesco. So yeah, that's how I got the Beat the Crusher disc. And this is another thing. This is a PS2 demo disc. So I was crazy about collecting the PS2 magazine when I was growing up. Every month I'd collect it, and every month it came with a big demo disc full of demos for you to play. And I always used to love playing those demos, because demos are kind of interesting because of the way they're like, sometimes they're different from the full games, or they're quite limited in some way, and I always found that quite interesting. I'd always try to break demos or try to, unlock stuff that wasn't there. I used to think things like, oh, maybe if I do really well at the demo, I'll unlock the full game, which is wishful thinking when you're 7 years old. Yes, very much so. Yeah, that's very wishful thinking, but of course, the demos were just very short, and you had to beg your parents to buy you the full game for Christmas or your birthday. That was the only time you could get video games, really. And next we have, oh, look at this, Action Man Robot Attack. I'm going to do a review on this someday. Action Man was like a big toy line when I was growing up. I used to love Action Man toys. My cousins just gave me like a whole bunch of them. They were like, here you go, here's all our old Action Man toys and vehicles and stuff. Have fun. And yeah, I did. I still love those Action Man toys and playing with them and, you know, having them engage in all kinds of fights and stuff like that. And at some point they actually put out a film, sort of a short film type thing called Robot Attack. This was something my friend down the street gave me, you know, I borrowed it from him or stole it, you know, take your pick at this point. But yeah, it's like a hilariously like bad, over-the-top, cheesy kind of movie, and one day I'm gonna like just do a review on this. Maybe I'll put this aside for like in a few weeks' time or something and just review this, do the first DVD review, because at some point I guess I'm gonna have to like start reviewing DVDs, because not everything's on VHS, is it? So, you know, I'll have to do DVDs at some point. Yeah, so that's definitely one. Action Man Robot Attack. It's not even spelled right. ATAK. Come on. And then there's one more game which is like Grand Theft Auto something or other. Liberty City Stories, I think. So yeah, that's like a GTA game. I was never actually into Grand Theft Auto, strangely. Maybe I was like too young for it or something. Like other older kids were always like going off about it, but in the early 2000s I was like 8, 9, 10, so I wasn't really playing Grand Theft Auto. I was playing like, you know, Sonic, Crash Bandicoot, Ratchet and Clank, you know, call me innocent if you will, but you know, I wasn't really into Grand Theft Auto, so it just kind of passed me by, even though it's like the biggest game series ever now. So most people have just got a Grand Theft Auto game, but not me, except for this, because my cousin left it here, so he brought it over, because he was that type of kid who was always playing games that he probably shouldn't have been playing because they were too violent, but not that it stopped him, definitely not. And finally at the back, this is looking a bit knackered, isn't it? Look at that, yeah, like this got all crumpled up at some point. There's another memory card in the back there. The last thing we have, I think, is a Blu-ray of Batman Forever, I think. Yeah, look, it's a Blu-ray disc, so yeah, look at how advanced I am with a Blu-ray disc. But what I think the thing is here is that I lost the case got damaged, I think, for this. It got cracked, you know, split open or something like that while I was probably moving house or something, so this disc ended up getting shoved in here. I think I have another copy in a box set or something, but Batman Forever, that's going to be a VHS review someday, because I actually have it here. Because, you know, I don't know if people notice, but sometimes I tease things when I put them here. Here's a secret, you know, like sometimes if you look in the background, you can see things that I might end up reviewing in the future, like Rover Dangerfield. That wasn't there originally, but as sort of some tapes have been reviewed, I sort of replaced them with things that I might review soon in the future. So Batman Forever has been here for a bit, and it means basically I want to review it someday. So yeah, Batman Forever is, because this is a really interesting VHS tape. It's like one of those kind of classic ones with the trailers and adverts and things like that. So this is the first Batman movie I ever saw, I think, live action one, you know, with Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones and what's her name, Nicole Kidman and Chris O'Donnell. That was the first one with Robin in it, yeah, and the Riddler, who my brother used to say was the Joker, but it was the Riddler. He was like, the Joker's the bad guy. Like I don't think he is the Joker. I think that's the Riddler. Yeah, so I'm definitely gonna do this because it came from Blockbuster. It was like when Blockbuster were clearing out their stock, you know, when they stopped selling VHS tapes, they started selling everything at a discount, so it was like $1.99, so it was really cheap in like 2005 apparently it was. Yeah, so I'm definitely gonna talk about this tape someday in more detail, because it's just one of those over-the-top cheesy 90s movies that's just sort of enjoyably crazy and over the top. And the first Batman movie I saw, if you don't count Return of the Joker, I guess. Yeah, I'm definitely going to talk about this. But now I'm talking about a video. I should be talking about this. I always end up talking about videos. Something wrong with me. Yeah, but the Blu-ray. So obviously, later in life, I went and bought it on Blu-ray. And that's basically all there is to say about that, is that, you know, I actually do collect movies on Blu-ray. I don't just collect videotapes. I have lots of DVDs and Blu-rays. That was the Blu-ray that got shunted in here. And that's about it. Yeah, not too much to talk about, I suppose, but I had this lying around, so I thought let's just get it out of the way. Take another thing off the list, my old CD wallet. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe and all that other stuff that YouTube makes me say, and I'll be back with another video very soon. So goodbye, guys. Take care. Weird wave.